Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is the Sentinel, watching over geekdom, and welcome back to Sentinel Reviews. This is time, I told you this was coming, my final video for the 4th Doctor Adventures Series 8, ranking the stories. You know, really not much more to say except a few things. There was 8 stories in this series. There's going to be 6 entries, because 4 of the stories were 2-parters, so I'm going to count those 2-parters as one story. Everything you're going to see, as you have throughout the rest of this video, is my opinion, so if you disagree, please start a conversation in the comments. Also, from my previous videos, because I will not be doing full reviews because I already reviewed the stories, I will be ignoring the scores I gave these stories, because when I gave those stories their scores, I was looking at them individually. And for this ranking video, I compared the stories against each other. So, yeah, kind of comparing the stories against each other gave me a different vibe for each story. So, yeah. Oh, I gotta get out of this thing. Also, this will be the last time you see the scarf, because the spring weather is finally coming in, and wearing this is getting a little, ill-advised. So, without any further ado, let's just jump right into this. So, starting us off at the bottom of the list, number 6, The False Guardian and Time's Assassin, the first 2-parter of Series 8. Now, The False Guardian, I thought it was okay, I thought it was funny, I thought it was fun, but Time's Assassin really brings this story down. I had a lot of issues with this story. Looking at the 2-parter on the whole, it's like Kill Bill. They're different stories tonally. Like with Kill Bill, Volume 1 was this big sort of kung fu samurai revenge action movie, and Part 2 was a western. And sort of the same thing here. They Are Told is very different story in terms of tone and execution, and it creates this kind of disconnect between the two stories, even though it's a 2-parter. They don't mesh well together. They don't gel together. I did not like Zephon. I explained this in my review. That sort of petulant, childish, whines when he doesn't get his way kind of villain. I have never been a fan of that kind of character. I've always found it annoying. And, like I said, aside from the overarching plot of the 4th Doctor's companion Anne being a sleeper agent, a lot of the plot developments introduced in this story, in Time's Assassin, feel like they came out of nowhere. It feels like there was no lead up in Time's Assassin or the False Guardian that... Excuse me. They come in twos. But no, a lot of the plot developments that were introduced in Time's Assassin, it felt like they came out of nowhere. There was no build-up earlier in the story or any build-up in the False Guardian leading to these developments. And it just kind of brought the story down. So I feel like there was more to it than that, but no, I guess that's what it was. False Guardian was good, Time's Assassin was weak, I'd make a Heaven Sent, Hell Bent comparison, but it wasn't that bad. Number 5, Planet of the Drashigs. I think my biggest... One, I didn't have the same hype for this story that everyone else had, because, yay, the Drashigs are back. I didn't even realize the Drashigs were that popular, if I'm being honest. But yeah, it's because I haven't seen the Carnival of Monsters, mind you. And 2, this felt like a really standard Doctor Who story. It's like, which one of the things I like about Big Finish is, even when they do standard Doctor Who stories, they still do them in a way that they stand out. There's still something unique about them. But this one is just really by the book. Like, Anne is just relegated to generic companion in this story, although I did like her scenes with K9. Number 4, Fever Island. Now, Fever Island I actually really enjoyed. I liked how insane it was. I liked how... I'm trying to think. It's just... it starts off like a typical sort of spy story, and then as you go on, you find this. It turns into this balls to the wall, just absolutely insane romp, and it's absolute fun. We get a lot of really good stuff with K9 that if you didn't see my reviews of the last 3 stories of Series 8, that I really enjoyed. But I think this one is only number 4, really, because it's just a case of me liking the other stories more. You know, there isn't really that many flaws with this one. I'm trying to think of what the flaws I had with it were the first time around. No, it'll come back to me. But yeah, no, it's just a case of every story after this down up the list, I just liked it more than this one. Number 3, the Sinestran Kill. The Sinestran Kill, now that I think about it, I think I was more mixed on it the first time around, but now that I think about it and listen to it again, it's actually a really strong opener. It establishes Anne's character, such as it is, really well in this story. And, you know, it's a base under siege story, but it's actually taken quite literally. Like, say what you will about the Patrick Troughton era or the base under siege stories in general, but they were always kind of unique in how they did them, you know? Like, it wasn't... The base was always different. The way it was under siege was always different. Like, when I stopped to think about it, a battle or a direct assault very rarely ever happened, and that's kind of what it is here. Like, someone... And now I'm forgetting who, so if you're watching this, I'm sorry for forgetting you. Someone said this was basically Doctor Who does Assault on Precinct 13. And like I said, base under siege stories were never this direct. And I thought that was kind of fun. Also, from the very beginning, Tom Baker and Jane Slavin show off this amazing chemistry together, which makes sense because the two are close friends. And it just worked. It hyped me up for the rest of Series 8. Number 2, The Enchantress of Numbers. This was my favorite story of Part 1 of the 4th Doctor Adventure Series 8. And no, now that I've listened to Series 8, it's still a really long, really strong story. I liked the character of Ada. I liked her interactions with the Doctor. I'm trying to think. No, K9 wasn't in this. I remember that very clearly. The plot was really interesting. The villain was a very high-concept villain, but I thought it was well done. We see a little bit more of Tom Baker and Ann Kelso, of the Doctor and Ann Kelso working together. We see more of that great chemistry they have, and we even see when Anne is on her own, she does a little better than she did in Planet of the Drashig. She's more of her own character. She's not just the generic companion. Really, the only issue that issue I had with it when I did my review, because of what came later in Series 8B, it's not really that big an issue anymore. In fact, it seems like it's almost kind of a tease. And aside from Ada, I liked the side characters. I liked the butler. I should have re-listened to this entire series before I did this video, but no, really great, really fun story, really great character moments, just great all around. And there's only one left, so I won't beat around the bush. Number 1, my favorite story of the 4th Doctor Adventure Series 8, the other two-parter of this series, The Perfect Prisoners, Part 1 and Part 2. So, yeah, everything throughout the Syndicate Master Plan, which is what Series 8 was called, was leading up to this, and it was just great. Unlike The False Guardian Times Assassin, the two stories blend really well together, and I like this story arc with Ann Kelso, Anya Kingdom, that comes into play. Jodor is a great character. The villain has this really great voice. I love his sort of that climactic confrontation with him and the Doctor and Anya. K9 kind of suffers again. You know, he's relegated back to that more plot device role he usually plays, but it wasn't as pronounced. This story has one of the most bittersweet companion exits I've ever seen in the series. Because, thinking on it, with two exceptions, Susan and Adam, the companion, and anyone who's died, the companion leaving the TARDIS has always been their choice. And, like I said, with the exception of the companions who died, Adric, Katarina, Sarah Kingdom, I'm trying to think if there was anyone else. But no, when a companion leaves the TARDIS, it's usually by their choice, and very rarely is it the Doctor saying they have to leave. Like, in the Dalek invasion of Earth, the Doctor basically abandoned Susan, but it was more, he left her to start her own life. And, in the long game, because the Doctor realizes Adam wasn't fit to be a companion, he basically left him home. But no, yeah, so it's like when we get a companion exit where it's the Doctor saying, you have to leave. Where it's the Doctor's choice that the companion leaves. It's always kind of bittersweet, and I've always enjoyed it. And like I said, here, it's really good, and it's really bittersweet. Because I liked Ann Kelso. I liked her a lot. But other than that, this story just flowed really nicely. The action sequences are great, because usually when we get to a big action sequence in Big Finish, it always feels kind of clunky or kind of rushed. And here, it doesn't. It works really well. And, yeah, this was my favorite story of Series 8. I hesitate to say it's my favorite story of the Fourth Doctor Adventures, but definitely of Series 8. So, yeah, that was my ranking for the Fourth Doctor Adventures Series 8. What did you think? What were your rankings for Series 8? Go ahead and start a conversation in the comments. Like I said, I will be doing the Jamie trilogy next, so join me next time for City of Spires. And what else was there? Oh, and then I'm not sure when that'll be, and I'm not sure what I'll be doing after that. I'm in the middle of something. I'm debating making an announcement video about it. We'll see what happens, but yeah, so between this, the Jamie trilogy, and whatever happens next, I may be taking a brief hiatus. So, just know that that's coming. Anyway, do you like what you see? Like, comment, subscribe, click the little bell in the corner next to subscribe to get notifications when I upload. In the description box below, you will find the link to my Twitter where you can follow me and the channel. And this is the Sentinel, watching over the geekdom, and I'll see you guys next time.